Hello everybody, I'm Scratch, and today we're going to be showing you absolutely everything about signs. So without further ado, let us crack on. So here is our first sign. It is a 0.5 meter sign. It has a silver border and has many different... Okay, so obviously I'm not going to bore you with every tiny little detail, but I am going to show you 5 different creative techniques that you can use to spice up your signs in your builds. And I'm not just going to show you those 5, I'm going to make them all culminate into one final build to show you how you can bring them all together to make them look really, really cool. But that's right at the end of the video, so stick around for that. One thing I want to address with signs is there's a bit of an annoyance with them that it's really hard to tell when you're spinning them. By the way, rotating with the mouse wheel, if you hold control, you get a lot finer control. But the point is, when you've rotated a sign like this, as many times as I have, how are you supposed to know if it's up or down? Well, unfortunately, as far as I know, I've got it the right way up. There is no good way of telling if that sign is the right way up or not when you've rotated it. I've tried investigating, I've looked around, I've looked at all the things. Let me know in the comments if you know a way of doing it, but I cannot tell on these smaller signs at least which way up is up. Now, with a squarer sign like this, you can obviously tell if it's sideways, because you can see here, you have a shorter piece here and a longer piece on the side. So then you know it's sideways, but upside down, there I can't see any difference. Now, on these bigger ones, you do. You have these bits here. They are only on the top of the sign. See, there's none on the bottom. And that's for large billboards and small billboards. Have these little nodules on the top, but not on the bottom. So you can tell those. You can tell if these, obviously that's sideways. You can tell if the square ones are sideways by the longer and the shorter. But these ones, I can't figure out a way to tell. Yeah, you've got slightly longer and shorter, but it's exactly the same on the top. I can't see any way from the front anyway that you can tell the right way up. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a solution for those little signs yet. If you do, like I said, drop it in the comments. Okay, as well as that, I just want to show you a few basic positioning techniques with signs. So obviously we can position signs in this kind of grid. We can obviously also hit H and nudge them around, and hit Control and H to nudge them in smaller half-meter increments instead of the meter increments that nudge normally does. But you can get even finer control with that. Once you run a sign along the edge of another sign, you get it much finer increments. You can see here, we can split that half in half again, and obviously then you're getting a 25 mil, 0.25 meter increment rather than the meter increment. So you get even finer control. This also means obviously you can clip signs together. So for instance, I can put an edge. I can overlap the signs like this and put an edge on the side of this sign. You might think, why do you want to do that? Now I'm going to cut to an example of how I have used that. You see these banners, how I've, along the edge there, added some like trim with some smaller details along the side, and also the bottom details. Obviously, you can do that kind of thing to be a lot more creative with your signs. So the other thing I'm going to show you with positioning is angling your signs. Obviously, when it's on a wall, you can angle them, like I said, like that, hold control for even finer control. But you can also grab a beam. If I put this in diagonal mode, grab another sign. You can see you can angle them as any different angle you want by using a beam. Just slapping them on a beam. Obviously, you can also get that angle like that any way you want using beams. So again, beams are amazing in this game. They allow you to position things however you want. There are some limitations, like if I do that, I can get it to line up with the beam, but the side here, even if I go into the finer increments, you can see, let me just jump down, there we go, you can see I can't quite get that angle. You're still only locked into the rotations on the side, so you can't I can't match that angle of that beam on the side. Again, if anyone knows how to fix this or has a way around it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. That's pretty much everything I wanted to tell you about sign positioning. So now we'll jump into the next tip. So we all know signs are great for labeling things, like for instance, labeling a conveyor belt saying there's 200 iron going along this conveyor belt. But we can be more creative with how we make our signs look, not just using the basic templates and just writing on normally. We can do things like this. Obviously, I've made a nice little sign here for my factory builds. I've made, maybe this is a little telephone box I could make. And this here, obviously, look, I'm doing a sign that shows you that my water pump is a 75% clock speed, but I've made it look a little bit interesting. And how I've done that is by using symbols. We go into configure this. You can see I've used, correct me if I'm wrong, like if this isn't ASCII, but symbols and ASCII to make these little bars and things like that, to make it look like a kind of, I guess, readout percentage bar graph, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the right term is. And it's the same with this. Obviously, that's a symbol. Now you can go to this website here and on the Satisfactory wiki, and it will give you a full list of every single character or symbol that works in the signs, and you can just copy and paste from there. And it's a real way to add some theming and storytelling to your builds, and also have it still display information if that's what you want to use the signs for, because that's what they're really for in game, is to label and mark things. We're just being a bit more creative with how we do that. So with that done, we'll move on to the next section. That next section is one quite a few people know, but I thought it's worth talking about anyways, using signs as lights. Obviously, you can use a sign to emit light, especially if you've got lumen on like this. It looks really nice. All you need to do is go into your interface here, choose whatever color you want it to be, set your emission strength to 3. You can set matte or glossy, it doesn't really matter, it depends how you want the finish on the glass to look. Remove any text. You're best to use one of these layouts here that's just text, and just delete all the text. But if you make them the same color, you can't really see them anyway. And then when you close it, it becomes this nice light like this. Because this is quite an obvious thing, and I think quite a lot of people know about it, let me just go and turn the light on and I'll show you how I've done this kind of hexagon style of light. There we go, lights are on now, so I can show you how I did this. It's pretty simple to do. I've shown it in previous videos. And actually, Maker Gaming has a really good video about how to make these even cooler and do some different signs. But basically, all you do is anything that has a sign that is 0.5 meters wide, you can put them on 2 sides like this, or 3 or 4, whichever, however many you want, like that. And then you take another beam, rotate it 3 clicks so that it's showing through the middle here, like that, and put another sign on the side. And you can see it perfectly matches up. So it makes this nice little, it would make a hexagon, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, octagon, sorry. Octagon shape, like that. And obviously then we can just copy, paste. Yeah, for anyone who didn't know, Control V, Control C, copy your settings. And that's how you make this nice little thing. Now this is a blueprint, if I go to blueprint mode. So I will add this little hex door, I've called it, even though I've just realized it's not a hexagon, it's an octagon. I'll make it downloadable, and you can download any of these blueprints and any of the blueprints you've seen in any of my videos in my Discord, which there'll be a link to in the description. So with that, we'll move on to the next way to creatively use signs in your builds. And so here we are with our next creative way to use signs, and that's not these symbols in the middle. We've kind of already shown you how to do that. It's this around the edge, using the sign backs. Now I've used them here to kind of make this look like, I guess you could say it's like a frame, a monitor frame, kind of a sci-fi monitor frame. Now there's multiple ways of doing this. Easiest way is to just grab a beam. Say I wanted my sign back to be against the back of this beam. All I do is go out by another meter. Get out of the way. Position it right next to like that. Get rid of this original one. So I just grab that, put it on like that. Position it. And there we go. We have the back of the sign. They're quite detailed. They're quite good. They're quite nice. I've obviously used 2 meters, the 0.5 and the 4 meter, as well as just using the back of the smaller signs. The bigger ones can make nice wall decorations or even roof decorations. So if I just grab a beam like this is what I'd recommend doing. It's going up by probably about 2 meters to give yourself some room. You might want to delete your foundations if you want to line them up, but I'm just going to do it like this. If I select like that, and then I bring up the, I'll just do it small, and I crouch down under here. We can see the back of this. It's quite distinctive. If we just, that's a 4 meter. You could see that being quite a nice detail that looks like some venting or something that could go on top of your roofs on your builds, just to add a little bit more interesting detail. So sign backs are really good for doing that, adding detail, making things look more interesting. With that, we will move on to our next creative idea with signs. And the next creative idea we're going to look at is creating furniture, or not always furniture, but more objects, using signs because they're their versatility, because they're quite narrow. I mean, I've made a few here, like a seat with a back, and like a little stool, and like a little bench. And obviously it's just using the sign positioning tricks I showed you earlier, and then taking the color out like we did for the lights, and just having a blank sign, but obviously with the emission strength off and on matte. I mean, you could have it glossy if you were making like, I don't know, a glass countertop or something like that. But if you put it on, you just want it to look like a bench or something. Matte works pretty well. Then yeah, we're just using the sign positioning to get them in the right place. The only thing you might notice that's slightly different here is how I've done this. Now, this is a little weird thing found out. It works best with the 0.5 signs I've found. Where are they? Oh, I need one of these. Hang on. There we go. Let me get an 0.5 sign. You can, middle mouse button, samples, buildables. You can sample, because you can delete these if you didn't know. Signs, you can delete the post. So you just have a floating sign. But because of that, you can also copy sample them, and you have a post that you can use, as you can see. Now, because you're not meant to do this, positioning them is a bit weird. Obviously, when you position a sign, you can click once and then set the height like that. You do the same with this, but the height, there you go. Look, you see, it moved. It didn't. If I click once and then go to try and change the size of it, it's just going to move around really weird. It's just going to keep moving. It won't let me change the scale or size. And as you can see as well, it comes out with this standard one. They're all this fat one like this. Because when you see, I think they use the same graphical element and just scale it, because when you highlight it, you can see the hologram does not match up with the actual thing itself. I'm not sure if that's true, actually. If we go up to the large billboard, I think this might be a different element. I could be wrong. Yeah, see, it matches, and you get a tall one. So if you need a tall one, use the large billboard. Let's do some live research here and see which one you get with. So yeah, you can mess around, and there you go. Look, you get slightly different height with those. So if you need different heights, select different. I don't think it makes any difference with these ones. No, you get that standard one. So I think you can get 3 different heights. Have a play, see what you can get. And obviously you could use these for way more than just these seats. You could use them to window bars, loads of stuff. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in as a tip. It's quite difficult. Let me just get rid of all this. Tidy up a bit round here, it's a bit messy. To get this to sit on top of here, it's not a beam height. If I tried to do the beam trick where I position it like that, we can see it's poking through the top, so that's no good. What you need to do is get frame floor foundations. These are quite good for getting custom heights of things. As you can see, there we go. We've got it at the right height. So just press Control and it will lay you flat. That's another tip, is when you hold Control, it will lay a sign flat on the floor or flat on a ceiling. And also, there we go. So if I click that there, you'll see we've got it nice and lined up. I think there might be is there a gap? I can't really tell. It's not, I think there's a little gap there, but you can't really tell. And that's how you line these up with these bars. But yeah, the possibilities are quite endless with this kind of stuff. Using signs, using these to create different angles and different backs and colors. Like I've just done 3 types of chairs just for, you know, ease of understanding, but I've seen people create whole kitchens, whole houses, pool tables, you know, garden furniture. Like I'm stuck in furniture here, but I'm sure you can allow your imagination to run riot. But yeah, that is our final creative tip, but that is not the end of the video. What I'm going to show you now is a culmination of everything I have taught you so far. So let's go jump to that now. And here we are. I've created this little control panel with all of the different techniques I've shown you in the video. Wasn't really much of a surprise. I'm pretty sure I've probably put it in the thumbnail to entice you in. So hopefully that worked. But yeah, this is a blueprint. And as I mentioned before, I will be putting the blueprints from this video into my Discord. So if you want to download this video to use it, or to just pick it apart and see what I've done, then you're more than welcome. Just go down to the description, click on the link, join my Discord, download it, have a play, say hello, have a chat. But yeah, we've used the sign backs. There we go. We've used hang on. Oh, there we go. We've used the sign backs here to add a little bit of detail and kind of connect it together using it as a frame. We've angled these side ones out. We've created a chair. We've used these as little embedded lights. We've used all the techniques I've shown you so far to create this little control center, control panel. Now, obviously, like, this doesn't display any information, but you totally could, like, say, this is running my, you know, power plants are running at 100% or they're at 250% clock speed. Let me cut to an example now of my Caterium build, where I've actually made displays like this that actually do show you what the production rates are and what's coming in, what's going out, as well as integrating the power switches and the lighting panels, and it kind of indicates what is hooked up to what, like what the power switch is hooked up to, what that lighting switch is hooked up to. So yeah, you can integrate these not just as aesthetics, but like a nice way of actually keeping track of what's going on in your build. Obviously, I've just created these keyboards by using the same copy and paste from the wiki web page that I showed you earlier to create things that look like keyboards. and informational displays. I've made 2 versions of this blueprint. One of a with the chair, and if I go here, one without, in case you wanted to maybe make a few of them. You know, maybe if you angle the foundations, you can make them angled as well, change up the information on them, and then position the chairs slightly differently, or build more of a bench seat or something. I haven't actually made... Have I made a blueprint of just the chair? I can't remember. No, I haven't. I will though. I'll make a blueprint of just the chair, so you can just add the chair, 3 chairs in whatever position you want. Just use the chair somewhere else in your build. So yeah, that is it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it and learnt something about signs. If you think I've missed anything out, obviously I've missed a hell of a lot out, as I joked about at the beginning of the video. Let me know in the comments, add your own tips in there, jump in the Discord, download these, tell me what you think. So yeah, I'd just like to thank you for watching and getting through to this point. And if you have, I know I said I wouldn't ask for more subscribers, like, because I'm not bothered about it, but at the time of recording, I am about 70-ish subscribers away from 2K. I just think that'd be cool if I get to 2K. You know, 70 is not that much, is it? 70 more people. So if you've liked this, subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment. And here is a link to another video that will give you even more tips on how to make cool things in this amazing game. Now, I've been Scratch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.